Welcome to Merit, everybody. We're proud to host this assembly of people seeking to close the digital divide in, Ingham, Oakland, Livingston, and Genesee. So it's great to have you all here.
I believe we can get a lot more done working together than working alone.
Ingham County is working on really tying together the digital inclusion and the infrastructure aspect. Those are really big to us because Ingham County is home to MSU, Lansing, and East Lansing, and the capital. So there's a big need for all of the broadband infrastructure.
Broadband is necessary for humans to thrive. We often get in the technical weeds too quickly, but this is about humans flourishing, humans thriving. That's why I'm in this.
The superintendent of the school said, you know what our biggest export is? I was thinking, okay, lumber, mining, stuff. It was our people, our students, our kids. They would go away to university and not come back because they didn't have the technology. And just as Gigi was saying, they didn't come back to their community because they didn't have the resources there to bring their dreams home. And that's what you guys are doing and looking for is how do we bring our kids' dreams home? How can they come back after what they learn at university or out in the world and bring those dreams back to their hometown?
So we did a project in Atlanta called the Atlanta Beltline. It was an abandoned railroad corridor around the city of Atlanta that they converted to a pedestrian path. What we did was we took dark fiber and conduit and put it along that entire pedestrian path. What that did for those surrounding communities, so that if people are familiar with Atlanta, and if you're not, I'll fill you in. The north part of the city is very affluent. The south part of the city is not. What it did and what this will do is it brings digital opportunity to everybody, despite whatever your socioeconomic status is. Everybody has access to the same asset.
We've built our network out mainly using conduit. And our conduit, thank you, Amanda, is not just one conduit as some are. Our system is built upon 8 conduits. And so we have huge amount of future capacity in what we've been building into our system.
Satellite does not work in mountainous areas. It's a point to point, like you have got to have like direct line of sight, and you can't have a lot of people, it's like you can't have a lot of people on one satellite beam. Like it's great for the one person who lives, not near anybody else. But if you have a populous area, if you have a mountainous area, West Virginia was about to submit their final proposal, and their proposal would have hooked up every single person in that state with fiber. And now they're going to have to consider, and they have to consider now, depending on the changes, to change to satellite. There is not a state in the union that I think is worse situated for satellite than West Virginia because of the mountainous areas. It's subject to weather. It's not scalable. Like fiber is, infinitely scalable and lasts like 20 to 30 years.
I think the most important thing with my digital equity hat on is collecting the impact stories from folks about how utilizing the internet has improved their lives in so many different ways. We know that broadband is a super social determinant of health. We know that you can have access to healthcare. We're working right now with our Michigan Department of Corrections to help folks get the digital skills that they need so once they leave prison, they're able to actually retain jobs. I think the big thing here is like telling the stories, because that qualitative data often seems to be received significantly, better.
My observation is that in our journey as we've gone along, we find ourselves breaking new ground with the people we engage with. You mentioned particular community anchor institutions. We barely got them to the table to even have these discussions. And you'd think that that kind of conversation, that kind of knowledge would be ubiquitous. Social determinants, community development, all these things, it would be everywhere. And it's not. We find ourselves breaking that ground all the time. And I wonder, when will it become ubiquitous? When will it become a statewide conversation? When will it become a national conversation? So you don't have to tell people, hey, you know what? Fiber makes sense.
The economic side of it has been really fruitful when you tell people that folks in the state of Michigan, your income is approximately $2,000 more per year per household if you have access to the internet. One of our Mitten grantees was talking about how through BEAD and DEA, we're creating investable communities. And that has been a phrase that has stuck with us since that, because, and I know that you guys are familiar with the Chattanooga, Tennessee example. Once we have the economic case, it seems to really get the attention of our more conservative colleagues to understand that this is a major issue and it's going to create wealth all across the board.
You shouldn't be doing your project in a silo. You should be working with your community. The village will help you get this done.
We're all here because of our commitments to our communities. And this is not an easy thing for any of us who are participating from the county level to do. We're navigating political waters, financial waters, infrastructure waters, federal waters, state waters, and everything else in between. And so, the opportunity for us to continue to collaborate is really an important element.